What if the US government helped cause a nationwide addiction crisis? Not by making drugs, not by legalizing them, but by turning a blind eye when it mattered most. This is the story they'd hope you forget. And it begins in a place most Americans have never heard of. In the early 1980s, the US was obsessed with stopping communism, no matter the cost. One of the hot zones? Nicaragua. There, a leftist government had taken control. To the Reagan administration, this was a threat.
My fellow Americans, I must speak to you tonight about a mounting danger in Central America that threatens the security of the United States. This danger will not go away. It will grow worse, much worse, if we fail to take action now. I'm speaking of Nicaragua, a Soviet ally on the American mainland, only 2 hours flying time from our own borders.
They backed a group of rebels called the Contras. The problem? The Contras were accused of torture, executions, and human trafficking. Congress pulled the plug. No more funding. But the CIA didn't get the memo. They still needed the Contras to win, so they got creative. Funding dried up, oversight increased, and that's when doors opened that should have stayed shut. Private planes, third-party arms deals, shadowy middlemen, all operating in plain sight, just outside the rules. It wasn't just weapons and gear, it was cash, lots of it. And no one could explain where it was coming from. The paper trail vanished, but the planes kept flying. That silence? It was hiding something big. In 1996, journalist Gary Webb started pulling on a thread no one else wanted to touch. He wasn't chasing headlines, he was chasing names. And two kept showing up, Nora Meneses and Danilo Blandon. What did they have in common? They are both from Nicaragua, both connected to the Contras, and both deeply involved in something spreading across US cities like wildfire. It wasn't just drug trafficking, it was industrial-scale movement of something new. And they weren't hiding it. They operated in the open, even while under investigation. How? Who was protecting them? And why? That something was a smokable, fast-acting, cheap form of cocaine. It was addictive and devastating. What was it? Crack. And it wasn't trickling into cities. It was flooding them, especially in Los Angeles. That's where Blandon sold to a dealer named Rick Freeway Ross. From there, it exploded into a full-blown national epidemic. This wasn't just a drug problem. It was a wildfire with no one reaching for the hose. Why? Because the people bringing it in were useful. They helped fund the war. They were protected by silence. And as long as the money flowed, the mission continued. Gary Webb published his findings in a series called Dark Alliance. The story hit hard. Protests erupted. Communities demanded answers. But instead of investigating deeper, the media attacked him. Major newspapers discredited his work. His own editors backed away. Critics said he overstated the facts, but the documents were there. The testimonies, the connections. It's like finding fingerprints at the scene and then yelling at the person who brought the flashlight. Webb's career collapsed, but his story wouldn't die. The CIA and Department of Justice launched internal investigations. Let's cover what they found. Yes, traffickers with Contra connections operate inside the US. Yes, the CIA knew about some of them. Yes, in multiple cases they failed to report them to law enforcement. But they insisted there was no formal plan. Just oversight failures. Just bad communication. It's like saying the ship didn't sink because of the iceberg, it sank because the crew wasn't coordinated. Technically true, but the result? Still a disaster. While all of this played out in the shadows, crack was tearing through neighborhoods. Addiction surged. Violence followed. Then came the arrests. Thousands, then millions. Sentencing laws grew harsher. Families broke. Entire communities were devastated. And the people who helped traffic the drugs, they walked free. This wasn't a conspiracy theory. It was a crisis of priorities. Foreign policy won, public health lost. But no one lost more than Gary Webb. He didn't just lose his job, his reputation, his peace. He lost his life. In 2004, he was found dead. 2 gunshot wounds to the back of the head. A suicide. And for years, that was the end of the story, until the documents started surfacing. Memos, cables, confirmations. Webb didn't lie. He just told the truth too early. And when you're the first to yell fire at a burning building, you don't always get thanked. So let's ask it plain. Did the CIA invent crack? No. Did they fund a war that relied on cocaine trafficking? Yes. Did they look away while it poisoned the nation? Absolutely. This wasn't evil genius. It was bureaucratic indifference weaponized. The mission came first. Everything else, including American lives, came second. This story isn't over, because if you think this was the worst plan our government ever backed, wait until you hear about Operation Northwoods, a real, declassified plot to fake terrorist attacks on American soil to start a war with Cuba. Yeah, they actually wrote that down. That's next. Subscribe. Thanks for watching The Hidden Media.